Hello, good morning, everybody, or evening if you're watching this later. Welcome, welcome. I am live. Joining me today is none other than Shane Callahan with Endurance Wealth Planning. So, hello, Shane. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you
Good.
for asking.
Yeah.
Shane, I've known Shane for just about 2 years now, right around there.
Somewhere around there.
And Shane is an awesome individual when it comes to wealth planning, but also when it comes to health and getting active and motivated and stuff like that. So I brought Shane on. Shane, tell us a little bit about yourself, and you have to answer my very famous question of tell me something not a lot of people know about you.
Man, I'll start with that one. I don't know if I've said this before, but I grew up in the Boston area. We had a boat or a few boats, things like that, but I'm allergic to shellfish. So I can eat fish, no shellfish for me. So kind of defeated some of the purpose of having a boat in the ocean. Yeah, so I have my own practice, endurance wealth planning, financial planning, investment management, and building out plans for people, mostly people that are still working, young families, things like that. So kind of the health and wellness piece definitely fits in there. Been my own practice for, I don't know, 3-4 years now, and came over from other firms. So I have my own control my own destiny, and able to utilize the time to get outside as much as possible. I live here in Highlands Ranch. I have 2 kids, and we, just trying to be as active as we possibly can, and just live the Colorado life as much as possible.
So tell us a little bit more about some of the things you like to do to get active. And I think one of the questions that I've always had as far as getting active is how do I do it? What's the first step that I do when I'm starting to get a little bit more active?
Yeah, I think for me, I grew up in a household that was encouraged that. My mom isn't necessarily the most sports type person, but she still likes to be outside and do stuff. And same thing with my father. He played a lot of sports growing up, and we were just encouraged a lot to play outside and whatnot. And I think the other thing too, I was in second grade, I think it was, I was diagnosed with ADD, and I've kind of carried that with me. And just one of the things they teach you to do is try to find either a fidget thing or something to keep your mind off of daydreaming or trying to help you pay attention. And that's always been my thing, just keeping active. So that's kind of how I think how it kind of all started, probably. Plus I like that competitive spirit and nature, not too overboard, nothing, not going to throw down punches at the adult softball league down the street or anything like that. But just being outside and, self-motivation, self-competitiveness, whatever you want to call it. Then what I do is really anything outside. People call my garage the mini, your neighborhood REI store. We have bikes, paddleboards, kayaks, other sporting equipment, just a bunch of stuff, snowshoes, winter skis, things like that. So anything, probably the most, the thing I do the most is bike rides. So love mountain biking. Here in Highlands Ranch, we have a ton of trails, miles and miles of dirt trails, kind of in the backcountry, they call it. So out there, 3-4 days a week, work out at a gym called Manic Training in Highlands Ranch, Littleton, Centennial area. 2-3 days a week there. And then we try to get the kids outside, bike riding or whatever. Call it endurance hunting. So backcountry hunting in the fall, so in the fall, I'll put in, I think last September, I put in 30-40 miles of hiking, 8,000 to 10,000 feet elevation. Just being able to get outside in nature, that kind of just cleanses the soul or releases that stress or whatever you want to call it.
Nice.
See what else? Paddleboarding. This past year, we did some paddleboard trips down like 3-day trips down the Colorado River in our paddleboards. Kind of brought all our stuff with us with other friends and camped on the side of the river. That was super fun. The kids loved that. Archery, going on the range and shooting and just being outside and doing as much as, outside as possible.
Fantastic. So it sounds like the things that you do, you enjoy doing them. Do you think that that's an important part of, getting yourself out there and getting yourself active?
Yeah, for me, that's the most important piece. You hear a lot of people that say, I need to get in shape or have that New Year's resolution. Hey, I'm going to start going to the gym, after work every day and get on the treadmill or the elliptical or something like that. And if it's not fun, you're not going to stick with it, most likely, and it's not going to be enjoyable. As soon as you get a little injury or something like that, you're going to stop doing it, or, you're just not going to be able to motivate yourself for the long term. It's more of a lifestyle choice than anything else. I think what mine are, they're lifestyle choices. They're not, hey, I need to go do this every day and hammer out 45 minutes on the treadmill. That's, I don't do, besides going to the gym and doing kind of a high intensity type workouts, that a lot of variety. I don't, ride my bike in the basement in the winter, or I don't run on a treadmill. That's just not enjoyable for me. So I think you really need to find whatever that is for your enjoyment that you're going to enjoy and do it. So more of a lifestyle, right? It's like eating. If you're not gonna stick to a plain chicken, brown rice diet, well, don't do that. You can integrate that in with other stuff, but just don't, eat what's going to be enjoyable, work out what's going to be the most, enjoyable thing for you. If it's, one client I had, he wanted to get into better shape and he didn't really like working out, but he liked photography. So we kind of made a plan, and this is part of his, that integrate that financial wellness with your physical and mental wellness. So he said, hey, I'm not going to suggest you go run or do anything like that. You're not going to stick with it, but select, like one awesome trip a month. So go to Rocky Mountain National Park, and you hike in a trailhead 3-4 miles to take pictures versus just from your car in the pull off. But then during the week, find a couple local areas and go and just to get used to hiking more or something, So it's just things like that. You don't have to go all gung ho and be, the next professional athlete. Just find what's going to work for you and have fun doing it.
That's a really cool idea. One of the questions that just popped up in chat was, how do you think your physical health affects your wealth, or do you think there is a tie-in there?
Yeah, I mean, again, that for me, that's huge. I mean, I don't just do one thing. It's one thing for the other piece and the other piece, right? For me, it's your physical, mental, financial, and then spiritual too, whether that's religious or just, being out in nature and having that peace. So probably those four. There's a huge correlation, especially I know in the workforce for companies, that when they've polled employees about their financial health and wellness, outside of work, it's like, I don't remember the number, it was like 60-70% said so their financial wellness is affecting their productivity at work. So I think it's really important for people, for corporate, that's a whole different conversation, but it's important for people to not only focus on just one piece, kind of get in that well-rounded, I guess it's that moderation conversation. I'm a big believer in that, that just works for me, doing things in moderation and just not going, pedal to the floor and then you get burnt out. So of course, what's moderation for you may not be for someone else. So you just need to find what that is. And then it's going to change over time too. It's going to change with the seasons. It's going to change, with life and stress and kids and all that other crazy stuff that comes in right now. A lot of people had to change their habits over the past year and a half almost now with COVID. Maybe you couldn't go to the gym, but I know by us, the usage of trails increased, thousands % over the previous year, which is awesome, which is great. But you aren't in the gym. You're not able to go do certain things, but you can go do that. So you just need to find that, again, what that works, what works for you.
I like it. So one of the things, I'm going to put you on the spot here for a second. One of the things you mentioned to me was take chances, try something new. So what I want to know is, what's the next chance you're going to take, or what's the new thing that you're wanting to try?
Oh man.
Indoor skydiving. Is that what we're doing next?
Not indoor. I have skydived once. We were actually talking about this with someone the other day. My daughter was just born. She was like, I think 2 months old, and I went skydiving for the first time. Maybe not the best choice, the best timing. In hindsight, it was crazy. It was fun. The next big thing, I think, I talked about, hunting. I know that can be a polarizing subject for some people, but especially for like archery, most of the trips I've done so far up to this point are kind of day trips or camping at the trailhead in big tents and, you car camp and all that. I think the next thing is to actually get into more of the backpacking, the backcountry, and go out, whatever it is, 10, 12 miles from the vehicle, the trailhead, and camp out for a few days and just kind of live that, everything you bring with you in a backpack is what you have to live off of for a few days.
Nice. When I was 16, I was probably 18 or 19, my roommate suggested we do that for a night or two. And we only brought a little bit of food and candles, and he made a lean-to out of rocks, and we put the fire at the front of the lean-to, and the wind blew the smoke into the lean-to, and we were blowing soot out of our nose for like a month after that, because it just got into everything, and we didn't even last the night. We just left.
Yeah, maybe not the especially nowadays, maybe not the got to be a little more careful like nowadays.
Yeah, definitely. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I know it's been scrolling at the bottom of the screen, but for the audio listeners, where can folks find you? And you got any projects that you're working on, or any kind of big things coming for your business?
Yeah, so you can reach out to me. Phone is 720-696-0265, and email Shane at endurancewealthplanning.com, or the website endurancewealthplanning.com. On Facebook and LinkedIn and all the social media stuff. What I tell a lot of people too is, professionally committing to another advisor can be intimidating, or you're not sure you're going to need one or how it's going to work out. But it's the same thing with activities or outside it. Call up and just kick the tires and ask some questions and see if it's a fit. I mean, no pressure, no rush, no sales pitch, anything like that. In terms of big projects, I think it's all our businesses have changed, or a lot of our businesses have changed in the last year. So for me, like being outside and all that stuff, and much more of a one-on-one personal connection. So still working on the whole social media side of the world. So getting more into that, we're doing, BK, you and I are doing a lot of videos with people focusing on the wealth and wellness spectrum, which is great. And we're trying to grow that. And so just trying to get more comfortable with video and whatnot. So I think that's probably the biggest project that I'm working on here going forward.
Awesome. No, that's fantastic. And guys, I've got the YouTube account pulled up on the screen next to us. Hop onto Shane's YouTube account. Check out our Double Dragon webcast. We're working on possible name changes on that, but for right now, that's what we're calling it. So hop on over there, check it out. Let us know some feedback on it. And as always, guys, we appreciate your time, and hopefully you got some good value out of this. Next month theme again is going to be veterans. So if you know any veteran services that I could interview for this, I want to make it all about veterans starting on Memorial Day and heading all the way through June. So we'll have some giveaways coming up. We've got a bunch of stuff coming out as far as the veterans are concerned. So thank you guys so much, and take care.